Okay, Funk Flex. I'm here, Ciroc Studios, of course. My guest today, I want to say this right, Freeway, Ricky Ross. Is that how do you want it pronounced?
It don't matter. Just call me. My mama named me Rick Ross.
Rick Ross is your government.
That's my government name. My homies call me Rick.
Rick.
People who knew me but didn't really know me call me Freeway Rick. And that's how it all came about.
So I want to discuss, first of all, born and raised. Where are you born and raised?
I was born in Texas.
Okay.
My mom moved to Los Angeles when I was about 3 years old, so I'm LA all the way.
Okay. So give me, you're 3 years old. Give me a year. Give me what time period this is. I want you to paint a picture of
63.
63. So this is
right before the Watts riots.
Before the Watts riots. It's not the LA we know today. It's not this is where African Americans do not have as many rights as they do today, correct?
Absolutely. I've experienced black and white bathrooms.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I have not experienced that, my brother.
I did. I've had to
in Los Angeles.
No, in Texas.
In Texas.
Never in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But Texas I did.
So I mean, you moved to L.A. You moved to Los Angeles. This is South Central?
South Central, yes.
South Central L.A.
Stayed in South Central all my life. That's the only place I ever stayed.
Your mom. So what is your mom doing at the time?
When we first moved to California, we were sleeping on one of my auntie's couches.
Got you.
She later got a job as a janitor. She used to do yards, just basically any kind of manual labor that people did. They were doing the jobs. My mom and my aunties and uncles were basically doing the jobs that all the Spanish people are doing right now.
Got you.
Lines, cleaning houses, doctors, lawyers. I've even been over to a couple houses that they used to clean that had swimming pools. So we would go over there on the weekends and swim and so forth. So that's the kind of work that she did when I was coming up.
Where's your dad in all of this?
I didn't meet my dad until I was around 32-ish.
32-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so this time it's just you and your mom.
And I had an older brother.
You had an older brother that was with you in L.A. as well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how much older?
He's 7 years older.
7 years older. So now you're in grade, because 3. No, you're very not even in school yet, right?
No.
So you eventually get to school. When does Rick Ross? When do you start to develop some
street?
The hustle. Well, the hustle, because
I've been hustling all my life. I used to hustle bottles and cans.
Is this your first hustle? That's your exact
Probably
first
my first
hustle.
Then
when you say bottles and cans, break that down for me.
Back in the days, you used to get a nickel for a bottle. You used to have a bottle, would have a number on the top of the bottle, what the store would pay to take the bottle back.
Got you.
I used to hustle those. I probably was one of the first people hustling aluminum cans and
now, when you say hustle, this means you're going to all different areas to try to get.
Well, first with the bottles, I used to go to my neighbors and get their bottles when they finished with them. With the cans, I started walking around the neighborhood picking cans up off the street, putting them in bags, and my uncles would take me to the recycler, and I would recycle them. That was the way I started off getting my first paper.
Cash this bitch in.
I've cut grass.
Okay.
I've assembled car washes with all my homies. Where I would get them all together, and one would stand on the street and flag the cars down, and the rest of us would go down and wash cars. So I've done that when I was about 10, 11 years old.
You're looking at this early.
Yeah, I've been about money all my life. It wasn't easy for me to figure out the importance of money. When you living in a house, you got holes in the floors and, rats and roaches and broken windows, and it was something that I despised.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it and I was like, no, I don't like this here.
We're not doing this.
No, not for us. This is not for us.
So now 10 years old, are we at 73? Around there? We're
10 I would be 70.
70.
Yeah. I run right with the numbers. My birth date is January 26, 60, so I ran right every year. The numbers are always even, real easy to keep up with.
Okay, so now you're doing this hustle. You're still in school, right? You're in school. Was school something that was good for you forever?
Never attracted to school. I did lousy in school. Didn't learn how to read and write till I was in prison. 28 years old.
So when did you drop out of school?
Well, I went all the way through the 12th grade because I played tennis. I was a good tennis player. I was all city tennis player. Had options to get scholarships, but I couldn't read or write. So once.
So that moved you through the system, the school system, because you were good at tennis.
I was good at tennis, and it kept me out of trouble too. You know, I never been to jail.
Okay.
Had never gang banged.
Okay.
Which my younger brothers and sisters did. They gang bang. So tennis kept me out of trouble. It took me out of South Central. I lived in South Central, but I wasn't in South Central per se. You know, it's an article they did on me in LA Magazine, if you ever get a chance to read it, and he says how I didn't have any of the badges of the Crips and the Bloods, you know, no tattoos, no convictions, and I didn't get tripped up by that Civil War that they had because I wasn't really into that. I was into hitting that tennis ball, and I thought tennis was going to be my way out of the ghetto.
So as you're playing tennis, you're not hustling anything you shouldn't be hustling?
No,
you're playing tennis?
I'm strictly tennis.
So you're strictly tennis. Are you teaching tennis at some point, or you're just playing and playing well?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be good enough in tennis, and then I was a little guy. So the good thing about that is that I was able to make money in high school by going out and playing with younger kids.
Gotcha.
Who were great tennis players, whose parents were raising, say, Otis Smith. Otis Smith is the guy who found Anita Baker.
Got you.
Johnny Taylor, Bobby Womack. He's one of the first black record distributors ever, him and Dick Griffey. And I used to get to play tennis with people like that. Tracy Austin, Jonathan Cannon, who, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but his granddaddy owned Orbacks. Their house was bigger, probably bigger than Manhattan. And I would go over their house, and they would pay me $20 an hour at 16
Teach them
years
tennis?
old. Not to teach them, but just to work out with them.
Okay.
Because it was like getting a workout from a 16-year-old for a 12-year-old, but not a 16-year-old that's 6 feet tall that's hitting the ball hard, and my game was more consistent. You know, I wasn't going to quit. I was just going to keep grinding, and that's what they liked.
So then, if you're getting to high school and you're not hustling yet, right? You're still in South Central. You're playing tennis. So now you got to be 17, 18.
18.
Right, when you graduate high school.
Supposed to. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't Did you? When did you drop out?
18 years old.
18.
My last year of high school tennis.
So you didn't finish?
No.
What made you not want to?
I shouldn't have finished anyway. I shouldn't even been in high school. I had a less than probably a second grade reading ability. I
had that tennis popping though. You had that.
Well, that's cool, but when you find out that your tennis career is not going any further because you can't read, the colleges are not going to take you.
Okay, got it. So you come to this realization in 12th grade.
Exactly. After, a few coaches coming down and they talking to me and they like, you can't read?
Got you.
You can't come to my college.
Okay, so being clear. So now, you 12th grade. So you drop out before 12th. When do you begin to feel you need to do? Well, because I don't think it happens overnight. I think there's some thought. There's some thought of what you want to do next.
Absolutely
so
not.
What was your plans when you dropped out?
I find myself back in South Central now. Mm-hmm. Now I live in South Central. Not only am I living there, but I'm staying there every single day. I'm in South Central. So the first thing I do is I start low riding.
Okay, so you're into the cars.
Yeah, one of my guys, my little crew that I grew up with. I'm still kind of like the shot caller for my crew, but
what's the name of your crew?
What they eventually called them, the Freeway Boys.
Okay, so you into the cars.
I wasn't doing everything that they were doing. They were already smoking weed. They were drinking. I don't do none of that. I'm a square.
Because you weren't exposed to it.
So I started going to the street races with them.
Got you.
And now I'm starting to get into the chicks.
Okay.
Because I see they in the chicks, and when you're playing tennis, you kind of you stand strictly to your sport. You're working out every day. You ain't really got time for nothing else. So once I start hanging out with them low riding, now I want a low rider.
Okay.
So I get me a car.
What car did you get?
I got a '66 Chevy convertible.
Ooh.
So now I want to find out, how's these guys fixing these cars up like this? Two-door. So now I want to know how they fix
I got
them up.
65 in case you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got like 20 muscle
We
cars.
rode with it. It was 65, 66. We all rode together. That was our club. We had started our own club. LA Riders was our name. So now I want to know how these guys fixing these cars up. You know, that paint job there costs $1,000. I ain't never seen $1,000, man. What $1,000 look like? My car I paid $100 for it.
Okay.
That's how cheap they were back then.
And now you're putting your work into it, your hand labor.
Exactly. So I started hanging out with the car thieves.
Got you.
So I first started off, I was just driving cars for them. They would start the cars up. I would get in and drive it wherever they
Now,
wanted.
when you say thieves, you mean what kind of cars are you stealing at this point?
Oh, they were stealing pretty much anything. Anything the body shops ordered, they would get it.
So then now I want to understand what this is. This is steal the car, bring it to the body shop pay out.
Right. Or we would strip it.
And they change the VINs over.
No.
It's always stripped?
They would change VINs too, but most of the time it was strips.
Okay.
You know, most of the time they need a front end, bumpers, doors. We've cut tops off cars.
Got you.
The whole 9 yards. So my guys who I started with, I done learned how to steal it myself now.
Got
They
you.
done taught me everything about cars. I can do whatever it is need to be done to a car. I can do it. So they wind up going to jail some kind of way. I don't remember how they actually went to jail, but they go to jail. When they go to jail, I take over their business because I know all the body shops. I know all the people who order the parts. I go and tell them.
What's your profit margin on one stolen car? Like if you take a car, it's 9 o'clock at night. You take the car, you bring it to the body shop. What would he pay you? What money could you make on that?
Just for delivering a car, like $400.
$400.
If I took a front end off a car back then, I'd get like $700.
Oh, if you took the front end off and delivered just the front end.
Right. Because
Okay.
he takes less risk when you take the front end off for him.
God, instead of it sitting in his shop and
He has to
wrenching.
take the front end off, and he's worried about the police coming. So what I did, I had my own chop shop at 18. Before I turned 19, I had my own chop shop.
God, so when you say shop, you're taking the cars apart.
My
You
shop
must
was
have-
big enough to hold 20 cars.
What year is this?
78.
You must have come across some nice cars.
I
I know I'm
destroyed
looking
a
at the
lot of
part that no
cars.
one else looks at because I'm thinking 67 Chevelle, 69,
Cadillac.
68, and then this is 70. What you're doing this? These cars are still on the street, so I know that you're getting some of them.
Classic now.
God!
They would be worth so much money right now. Convertible Cadillacs,
Oh, my God.
stuff that you don't even see no more.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about a 78 convertible Cadillac.
Are you busting up any of these cars yourself, taking front ends off, and do you understand
Not
how
for
to
myself.
wrench?
I don't. Oh yeah, I'm wrenching.
Okay, you're wrenching. Okay.
wrenching.
And describe this place where you keep the cars. Like how's 50 not? What did you call them out there? We call them 12, 50. What would you call them? Just police?
We call them 50 before too.
Okay, that's from Hawaii 50, right? That TV show. That's why we use that, right? Okay. So
Well, I had a building. It was a brick building. It would hold about 20 cars. It had a yard around it. The yard wasn't mine. It was belonged to another like wrecking yard that they set cars there. And so one night we in there stripping. We had about 7 cars we in there taking apart, and we had a helicopter over the top, tot. And I look out the door and I say, man, the police got us surrounded. So I come back and I tell my guys, I say, man, the police got us surrounded. I said, man, I'm gonna make a break for it. So I run out the door, I'm running, man, I'm running so hard, man. The police, they see me, they run me down, and finally they catch me, and they take me over to this lady, and this lady is like, no, he ain't the one. Somebody had snatched this lady's purse, but the cops say, man, this dude ran so hard, he had to do something. Where did he come from?
they didn't find out where you came from?
No, they found out. They went back to my shop,
Oh Lord.
and I had my keys in my pocket, and they brought me to the front, and they was like, what was you doing in that building? You breaking in that building? I said, no, that's my building. And
they can't ask you to see what's in your building, right?
not supposed to, but they took the keys, went in and searched the building anyway, and they saw the cars and whatnot. And they said, oh, you got a shop going on in there. So they arrested me for that, gave me 7 counts of GTA. I was looking at 21 years in prison. So I'm in jail. My mom come bail me out. And I'd saved a little money too. I still had a little change saved, so she used my money and bailed me out, put her house up. So now I'm kind of like in no man's land again, because my
Yeah, well,
hustle's gone.
did you have to do time?
I wound up beating the case because I told them it was my place, and they should have asked me if they could search it.
Wow.
By them not asking me if they could search it and didn't get a search warrant, it was illegal search and seizure.
But you lose everything. They take the cars.
I didn't care about that. I didn't want to go to jail for 21 years.
So now you didn't get time.
I wound up paying for a lot of those cars too. You know, later on they sued me.
Who sued you? The people on the cars?
The insurance companies. The insurance companies can sue you for those cars. So they sued me for the cars. I wound up paying about 3 cars off.
Lord.
You know, once I start having money.
It's the part that people don't. I wouldn't even think. I would think that you just walk away, keep it pushing.
No. The insurance companies can sue you for that money.
Got you.
Because you destroyed their property. They paid the people off, so the car becomes theirs, and now they want you to.
None of this is what you even thought was at the end of the rope with all this car stuff, right?
No. And my next venture. You know, this is the beginning of.
So this forces your next venture actually, because you might have still been stealing cars. If that was going well for you,
I probably would have never.
And yet, of course, you probably
drugs.
wouldn't have transitioned.
Right. And then I needed the money from the drugs to pay for my lawyer. Because I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm like, wow, what am I gonna do? They just shut me down. I don't want to steal no more cars because
they looking at you.
They're looking at me. If I catch another GTA case, I got a GTA 7 counts of GTA pending, 3 years apiece on each one.
Mm-hmm.
What if I get caught with another one? I'm done. So one of my guys called me one day, and he was like, man, I got the newest thing. And when I got to his house, he laid it out on the table. It was the first time I'd ever saw cocaine. I took my first snort that day. And
what was that first snort like?
You know what?
You remember it?
It was just a drain. It gave me a little drain. Like I took something down my throat, and but it wasn't a feeling that I wanted. Because
Okay.
I still had never, at that time, I never drunk a beer, had never took a sip of alcohol, had never smoked a cigarette, never smoked a joint. So I was like virgin material at that time.
So it's probably a little bit more uncomfortable than it is enjoyable.
Uncomfortable for me.
Got you.
But the idea that he told me that could make me rich was intriguing enough for me to take a $50 piece of what he had and go and find out what it was.
And go and see what was the value of it when you walk out that door.
Absolutely.
So now, give me a year on. So the stolen cars is happening. What'd you say? Was it 73? You said?
No, 78.
78.
Yeah, after high school, right after high school.
I just want you to understand, New York City. This is right after the muscle car era. So this guy was seeing some things in that room. That's exciting me. That's exciting me. Okay, so 78. So now, when is it you get your first look and snip of cocaine? What year is that?
79.
79. This is, where are we? This is what's happening. 79. Disco's in full swing.
Grandmaster Flash.
Oh, Flash is just coming through. The hip hop game is just starting. This is I'm picturing the years. Okay, so
Yeah,
you
Sugar Hill.
What happens with this $50 worth? What happens then?
Well, I'm going around the neighborhood asking all the OGs. You know, what was it?
What is
this? What is it? So finally, I came up on.
So you never heard of it before then?
Oh yes, I'd heard of it.
But
from
you didn't know what it was
Superfly.
about.
You know, I love Superfly. That was my man.
Okay.
I liked him more than I liked Arthur Ashe.
Be clear.
Ash was cool.
Rest in peace to
Ash was cool, but Superfly took it to a whole nother
Something
level.
else going on. Yeah, the chicks. It was moving.
Yeah, so
Impressive.
So I knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was that I had in my hand. And you know, in South Central, you don't go around selling nothing that ain't right. Because at this time, my neighborhood was probably more dangerous then than it is right now.
Got you.
So finally, I ran into one of my old partners who was a pimp. You know, because I stayed on the stroll. You know, where the hoes walk.
Said, yo, you know how long this hurt?
So
I heard the stroll. Oh my God.
He showed me what it was. He took it, and first time I ever saw somebody cook it up, he cooked it up. First time I ever saw anybody smoke it was that day.
Now, was he cooking it up for crack? Because this is early '79, or is he cooking it, freebasing it?
We never called it crack. We called it Ready Rock.
Ready
He
Rock.
had baking soda to it and water. That was it.
Okay, this is '79.
I never found out what crack was, and you know, I done heard a lot of talk about crack, but I think that's a government term for rock cocaine.
Got you. Okay, so this is happening in '79. It's getting cooked. I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is 79. Right before this, before I got involved, they were what they call ether basing.
Okay.
And I heard that ether basing was really, really complicated, where they use a lot of different chemicals and ether and whatnot, and it was just so much more complicated. I only saw a few people do it, the ether basing.
I wouldn't think ether's good in anything. I would be terrified.
Well, you know, that's what Richard Pryor was doing when he got blew up.
Okay.
He was ether basing.
Okay, that's what he was doing. Because
Right.
I thought it was there's a difference between basing and free basing.
Well, a freebaser is somebody that smokes for free.
Free base smokes for free?
Yeah, I mean, he ain't got no money, but he want to be in on the smoke. He's a freebaser.
Oh my God. Funny.
That's what they call a freebaser.
I never knew that either. I thought it was, a term for the drug and a way of using it. That's what I always thought.
Yeah, that's how it came about.
And that guy's not very popular, I would assume. Because nobody wants anybody
Nobody
free.
want no freebasers around. Man, you freebasing again?
You gotta go. So we're 79, 80?
Yeah, we getting into 80 now.
We're in the 80. So now you take this $50 worth, you hit the street, do you sell it, turn it over, make a
Not
profit?
the 50. I get beat out to 50. Martin smoke up the whole 50.
Now who's this?
Martin is a pimp. He's my big homie,
Everybody, it's not just, a lot of people just take an L in the beginning. When that
no
can
doubt,
happen.
no doubt. You don't make no money until you learn the business.
So wait, he's telling you he's testing it, but he's really finishing it off.
Well, look what he did. He cooked it up. The rock was about the size of a match head. Supposed to be $50 worth.
Okay.
So he take it, he chip a little piece off to taste it to see if it was really cocaine. Well, he got to check it to see if it's cocaine.
Okay.
So he takes a piece, he put it on the pipe, he tests it, he said, it tastes all right, but I need another piece. So he chip another little piece off, he tests it, and I was like, man, that whole thing gone. And
Free base.
he said, man, it ain't none left. I might as well go ahead and get the rest of it, and I'm going to pay you Friday. But Martin was my first customer. After he did that
Customer.
day. He did that day.
I can't. Oh my God. Yo, wait a minute. That means. See, he was thinking he was getting over on you. You was like, nigga, I'm locking you in. Nigga, you locked in. Have some more.
Oh, he locked me in. We probably locked each other in.
We're here. We're here.
Me and him became like super duper tight.
Okay, but he's in the customer category, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Which we don't. It's not no lack of respect for it.
I love my customers.
Okay, so did the experience you have with him make you understand the importance of the drug?
It didn't.
Not yet.
No, not yet. I didn't really understand. He came back later on that night with another guy named Big Mouse. Big Mouse was with Tookie Williams and all them when they started the Crips.
Got you.
So he came back with $100.
Oh, so this is on and popping before the
I
end
had
of
a
the night.
dilemma because now old Mike, $50,
You need more product.
and I need more product. So now I got to call Mike and tell him what happened with Martin.
With your with your $50. Plus, I need more. How's this gonna work? That's an interesting call. That's when you become a hustler, though, right?
That's how it all started.
Now that's the. How do I pay this off? Make this profit. Get everybody right. Keep it all.
Well, it wasn't
here.
even about profit for me at that time. I was really working for free. I mean, I did the $100 deal.
Why
for
is it
him.
intriguing you though? What are you feeling or seeing?
Well, Mike was my guy. I looked up to Mike. He was like a big homie too, somebody that I wanted to be around and hang out with. And he told me that this was gonna be the thing, so I trusted him.
Got you.
Even though I had some skepticism about it, and I'd also saw Superfly too.
Okay.
So I knew that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? I saw how Superfly did, and he beat the man. So I still was intrigued with what's the business, what it was. And then after I did the $100 thing for Mike, I had even more confidence in it that, man, $100 in one day, didn't steal nothing, didn't have to take nothing. And the guy who who did the deal with you, walked away rubbing his hands and happy and
Ready to come back.
Cadillacs and wearing jewelry. I think I'm in the right company. So that's really how I looked at it. And what I did is I kept working like that with Mike, and until I was doing like $300 a day. And then my guy who was with me today, that Martin did the first thing, went to jail for burglary.
This is the person who was testing it for you.
No. He was with me when I took it to Martin. Ali was like one of my soldiers. He was like,
got you.
He wound up becoming my partner.
Got you.
Business. Well, he had went to jail, and while he was in jail, I really was just running for Mike. Just getting it from Mike, taking it, selling it.
We're still in 80? Are we 80, 81?
Yeah, 80, getting into 81. I did that for Mike for about 3-4 months.
Okay.
Just running for him, getting the stuff from him, handing it to the people when they called him. And then he started giving me more. He had forgot about the $50.
Okay, because we're keeping it pushing.
We're keeping it pushing. So he had forgot about the $50. So when Al got out of jail, I told Al what was going on. Hey man, I've been doing this for Mike. I'm making about $300 a day. I got to get my own $300 because I learned that an eighth at that time cost $350. So I told him, man, we got to get us $300 so we can get down. So he was getting out of jail. He was like, man, let's go steal a car. I'll do everything. You ain't got to do nothing. You start it up for me. I'll take it from there. I'll strip it and do the whole thing.
To say, whoa, big guy, right? Did the car make you nervous?
It did. Because I was still fighting the case, even though I had a good lawyer though. Because Mike was helping me with my lawyer. So I
Mike
had a lawyer.
is very handy very handy for you.
Yeah, he was.
Moving.
He was.
You said something because I want to go back to the 350, but. At your height of the stolen car ring, what was you pulling down in that financially? Like, what were you making with that chop shop?
Some nights we probably could bring in $2,000 or $3,000. So
weekly, was it like 10 grand a week, maybe, or 7,500?
It varied as partner. What kind of orders came in. If it was Cadillac front end.
Okay.
It varied.
Oh, so the body shops would do the order with you.
Right.
Because I see what happens. If they get the parts for free or for cheap, they're still charging the person that's doing that. They're doing the work for a top dollar.
Correct. So if they went and bought the parts from the dealer.
Yeah, so then they're bagging
extra money.
And
they're going to get the car finished faster because more than likely the shop, the dealer's probably going to tell them, we'll have it next week, we got the next. And so they want to get the car in and out.
There was only one loser, really, in that whole thing, was the person who lost the car that night.
Yeah, and the insurance company.
Yeah, that was the main loser. Okay. So back to the 350. You and your homie get the 350, right?
Yep.
Start to get an eighth. Now that happens. I would assume,
yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
It happens. Okay, so where do you guys move? Are you still moving for the guy, or once you get your eighth, you break off on your own?
We start buying from him.
Start buying from him. Now I'm not moving it from him. I'm buying it from him.
We're buying it from him.
And we keep it pushing.
And we pushing.
Okay.
So we working, and then we find out that he's using now more than what he's selling. He becomes an addict.
Prime for take over his territory.
Well, now we didn't want to take over his territory. That's my man. I ain't trying to conquer my folks. I don't need to. I got South Central.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He's in a nicer part of. He's in like West LA.
Got you.
He came up a little better than we did. His people had money. So they wasn't like us.
Got you.
Basically. So we weren't really worried about his territory, but we needed a new connection.
Okay.
Because he wasn't growing with us. We would have to come to him and buy stuff that he didn't have, and we'd be waiting on it. So.
Because he's getting high.
Yeah, he's getting high.
Do you and him ever link up again later on in life?
Yeah.
He's okay now.
He went to jail with me and everything. I got him cut off the case. I took care of him. I paid his rent. For the rest of his life, just about, until I went to prison. I paid his rent.
Okay. He was with him. You appreciated him.
He stayed. Absolutely. What he did for me was far as I'm concerned, height with almost what anybody had did, other than my mom and my daddy, giving me life. He introduced me into something that took me places that I never thought that I would go.
Okay, all right.
So, I didn't have a problem with he drove a car of mine. Everything he did just about was mine. He stayed rent-free for, 8 years, 9 years. He was my man.
Got you.
Even though he was on drugs, he still was my man.
Got you.
So I respected that.
You didn't turn your back.
Absolutely not. No, I don't believe in turning my back on people to help me, even if they have problems.
Got you.
Because anybody can get caught up. And so
True.
he got caught up. He was in the early stages of smoking cocaine and snorting it, and he just got caught up.
So now, when you do this, so you start to sell, you start to do it on your own. I mean, who's your connect now?
Well, first he was my connect.
Unless we can't.
No, I can talk about
okay.
it. We can talk about whatever.
Okay, all right.
I ain't got nothing to hide. I started with him. So I had a teacher at a skill center that I had went to do interior for cars.
Got you.
Me and him had started playing tennis together, and we hung
This
out
is
together.
prior to the chop shop.
Prior to the chop shop.
All right, cool. Because I was like,
And doing the same time too.
Okay.
I was doing the same time too.
Might as well learn how to do some interiors as you
Exactly.
lifting shit up. Lifting shit up.
Well, you want to have a legit hustle too.
Okay.
And
He was out there
I didn't want to
moving,
be,
bro.
I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be no criminal.
Okay.
Criminality was not something that I necessarily wanted to be a part of.
Got you.
It just fell on me. Malcolm X said, I didn't fall on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock fell on me. So.
And that's what happened. Okay, clear.
So one day I go and see him because I hadn't seen him in a couple months, and he was like, "Man, where you been? You don't come to class no more." And I didn't feel like I had to lie to him.
Okay.
He's my man.
You told him what you were doing.
Told him what I was doing. I said, "Man, I've been selling cocaine, man."
How does that start? How does that conversation start? Selling cocaine.
And then he said, "Is that right?" He said, "You see my Cadillac? You see all this jewelry I wear in the house? I didn't get that as no teacher."
Okay.
He said, "I used to be in the game too. Come by my house tonight." So I go by his house, and he introduced me to the first Nicaraguan.
Jackpot. That's
Booyah.
it, right?
Problems over. Problem solved.
Game over.
Yeah, I no longer have a problem with being able to get good cocaine at a fair price.
Okay.
And,
now you're getting an unbelievable price, correct?
Not necessarily unbelievable, but
you have to earn your
say for
trust with
instance,
him.
I was buying ounces. I was paying like $3,200, $3,300 for an ounce of cocaine. They probably started me off at like 26.
Okay.
So I mean, a good price. I'm saving $500, $600 on every ounce, but nothing astronomical. Not $1,000 an ounce. Like eventually, I got him down to.
Okay.
But
what'd you have to do to get him down to that price? Just trust?
hit him with money.
Hit him with money, or buy more?
Keep hitting him over the head with money.
Gotcha.
I figured out that the more money you spend, the cheaper it gets.
Now you connect. Where's he from now?
Nicaragua.
But stays here.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what happened.
What was in the U.S. What was in L.A.
Yeah, right. They were in. He was in L.A.
Got you.
Yeah, he was in L.A. What had happened is, they had a war over in Nicaragua,
Got you.
where the Sandinistas and the Contras were fighting over Nicaragua, and they lost the war. So they had to leave. So the U.S. allowed them to come over here and seek refuge from the war.
So now, how does this change your daily money? How does this connection change things for you moving forward?
Well, what happened is I had a couple partners that was already selling other drugs when I started selling cocaine, and they had a little money. It's crazy, when I sit back and I wrote my book in prison, and I just analyzed how I systematically put this whole thing together, because I needed investors. And, when I found this connection, now I need investors.
Well, you want to be able to, because the more you can buy from, I guess, the cheaper you can get it.
Absolutely.
So let's bring some other people
now
to the
if
fold.
I find somebody that was paying $3,200 for an ounce, if I can get him to buy an ounce for me for $31, I'll make like $500 profit just off of him.
On him, you don't even move nothing.
And I don't really move nothing. So I went to two of my guys. One was like the king of marijuana at the time in our neighborhood, and one was like the king of PCP.
Got you.
And I knew that both of them already had money. Both of them probably, when I had $1,000, they probably had 20.
Got you.
So I talked to them about what I was doing, and I told them the way they making money was slow. I'm getting my money $100 at a time. I don't sell $50. I don't sell $25 shots. $100.
That bill was $100, but I'm old, I'm old, so I remember that bill was $100.
Yeah, $100 and up. Don't come to my house without $100. You know, that was my rule. Don't even knock on my door. Don't ring my bell if you ain't got $100. And then I go and tell them, I say, man, y'all out here selling $10 bags and $20 sticks
Longer.
when you could be selling $100 pouches of $100 rocks. This is before that we were all cooking it up for ourselves.
And in the 80s, it was, you had people that got high, but it was also like a social drug. Like I remember it being open, like that bill. If it was a party, it came, especially in New York.
Absolutely.
It came out, or
only the rich people were doing it.
Correct.
Correct. The entertainers, Ike Turner.
Damn, Ike. Should have laid off that shit, Ike. You bugged out.
It was only the people who had money. I mean, who could afford $100 at that time? In my neighborhood, the people who were doing well.
That was like $1,000, $2,000 to me as a kid. $100.
Yeah.
That bill was rare. You saw it.
The people who were really making money probably made $400 a week.
Got you.
At that time, my mom's house was worth about $60,000 in the neighborhood, and that's the average price for the houses in our neighborhood was like $60. I mean $60,000. So at that time, $100 was a nice piece of money.
So how did you're making this money? What are the adjustments you make in your life? Like, are you buying homes, cars? Like, how are you moving?
I didn't change nothing. I stayed exactly the same.
You didn't want it, so you did not want the flash.
I didn't want the flash. I wanted the money. My goal was to start me a business and let the business buy the flash.
Well, did you eventually get to open some businesses?
Yeah, I had businesses.
What did those businesses consist of?
Body shops. I went right back to cars.
Whoa. Well, now you ain't gotta chop them no more. You was really doing?
I'm paying people to chop them for me.
Wait, are you still? So you? Wait.
I'm buying the parts from the guys. Bring me a front end.
Oh, you're in the safe side. You're in the safer side. Let me get my money from the person coming to pick this joint up.
The same way I learned. Basically, what everything that I've done in life is I learned as I went.
Okay.
So, say for instance, when the police raided me, I had to go to the impound because my car was at my shop too. My lowrider was. So when I go to the impound, I meet the guy who owns the police impound. So now I find out that he sells the cars once they come to the police impound. He sells them.
Great. Let's do this. Let's do business.
So now I'm buying cars. I almost bought the police impound. I was close to buying the police impound.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. That's a very intriguing story.
So,
so you own body shops. How many did you end up owning?
I stayed in motels all the time. My mom had put me out. She found out that I was making this money, and
she was upset.
So she puts me out.
Okay.
When she puts me out, I already got $100,000, maybe $150,000. So I can stay in a motel now.
Okay.
Or with anybody. Everybody wants me to stay with them.
Of course they do. He's got the good stuff. Let him in.
I got both of the good things.
So,
it wasn't a problem. But I started staying in a motel. When I'm gonna be with a chick, I'm gonna go to a motel. I was living with one of my cousins, but when I want to go with a chick, I go get me a motel. And then I'm riding around like, dang, I can't find a motel. $50 a night, and I can't even get one. So I tell my boy, I'm like, man, we got to get a motel. We got to buy our own motel. Look how small this place is. For $50. So the next thing I do, I buy a motel.
Okay, so a motel, body shop. You're not in the chop shop business. You have a legitimate body shop.
Body shop. I got workers.
Got you. But it's also your passion too, because you like it. Yeah, you build any cars for yourself in any of this?
I built a race car.
What kind of car? What year? What was it?
I had a pro car.
What was it? What was you remember Chevy, Ford?
It was a Ford. I had a Cougar.
A Cougar. What year?
83 Cougar.
Popping.
With an Austin chassis.
83 was that's the year. That's when the shape.
Bought a race bike. My bike set the world record. I bought the bike from Terry Vance and Brian Hines.
Okay.
So right now, their sons are like the fastest bikers in the world. They was the fastest bikers in the world at the time.
Got you.
What else? Shoe store, tire and wheel, custom tire and wheel. I was the first black to have a custom tire and wheel shop in L.A.
Where was it? What area?
South Central. Everything I did was in South Central. I didn't.
So nobody has an idea of what you're doing?
Everybody know what I'm doing in the neighborhood.
You buying all this cash?
Yeah, they taking cash.
Okay.
They like cash.
So you're taking over. So I'm assuming you're taking over
They were
struggling
so nice.
businesses.
Look what they would do. They would be so nice. They would say, "Okay, I want $600,000 for the building.
Gotcha.
You give me $600, we're gonna write it up like you gave me $250."
Oh, it's great. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
pop off.
And what else we gonna do is the $250. We won't even take that in cash. We're gonna let you pay monthly payments on that $250. So now it look like you only paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month.
They look amazing.
So it looks good. If somebody comes
It's actually legal paperwork.
and they want to see the paperwork, oh, it's his. I sold it to him at $250. He's paying me $1,000, $1,500 a month.
Oh, like they supplied the loan to you. When a
Exactly.
person they're holding the loan.
They became the banks.
Oh, great! Wow. So now this is happening. How much? This is what are we still in 80 or we're further in the 80s?
We moving up to the 80s. We getting close to like 84.
84. So you have businesses. You have auto body shop. You have hotel. You have tire and wheel shop. Houses.
Apartment buildings.
Apartment
I'm
buildings.
building houses now.
Now you're building.
I'm building houses now.
So you're creative with this.
Going to get the plans. They done taught me how to go get the plans. I built my motel. That was the first project I ever built. Because I didn't know how to buy a motel. You know, I'm going around, like, remember how I had the $50 piece of cocaine?
Got you.
I'm going around doing motels the same way, asking everybody, how do you build a motel?
And get the information.
And
So
then finally,
how old are you here? You're in your
I'm
20s?
24.
You're 24. So
I built the motel though in 82, so I was 22 when I built the motel.
are you at your height of making money yet? Or
I started in about
Getting-
84 is when it really
press the go button.
It gradually went. Probably 84. That's probably when I started hitting $1 million a day.
$1 million a day.
Yeah.
So now I need to break this million down because I want to have a good understanding of this $1 million. So is this like $1 million is what you're moving around, or is that your profit?
No. Out of $1 million, my profit would be anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000, according to who came. You know, if one of the big guys came, they got better discounts because they spend more money.
Got you.
So, but if I did that in little guys, 2, 3 at a time, I charge them more.
So you're only doing weight now. You don't have. You
No,
don't
I
have
got
work.
rock houses too.
You have who?
I got rock houses.
You have houses.
Yeah, I got.
How many of the houses do you have where you set up your own team?
Right. I probably got like five rock houses, $50 rock houses. Because what I did is I would set up like $50 rock houses, and I stumbled on what they call a double up. One of my girls, because all my girls sold too. All my baby mamas sold dope.
How does that happen?
I mean, I didn't mess with nobody who didn't. I don't know why. I was just attracted to them, you know.
Everything's gonna have a
But
price.
you know what? But you know what? I figure like this here: if they're gonna spend the money, they might as well help make it.
Okay. I never looked at it like that. You're absolutely right.
Why not? You gonna live like a rock star, so you might as well be one.
So that, literally, a rock star.
So one of them one day, she had her own spot. You know, she got her own spot, and I just passed by and I'm looking. I'm like, wow, and it's in the book too. And I'm like, wow, look at the line at her house. I mean, she looked like a supermarket, right? I ain't seen this since my days of running my own house. You know, you got lines in the yard and people standing out, and you got to have somebody directing traffic and tell them how to stand and the whole 9 yards. So now I look at her and she's doing the same thing. So I go in there and I'm looking and I'm saying, what the hell is? Yeah, I'm looking at her rocks so I get on the phone and I call all my guys and I'm like, man, y'all got to get over here right now.
Mm-hmm.
She created the double up.
What's that called? What that consist of?
The double up is where you could go to her house, spend $50 and make 100.
And make 100?
Yeah.
Well, explain to me how that works.
Because it was a double up. That's what they call it, the double up.
But how? So the person who's spending can make money?
Can spend it and make money and double their money. Or you could smoke half of it and then come back and spend 50 again. Or you could take it and you could sell it. And what happened is this got so popular that
You're creating entrepreneurs?
creating entrepreneurs. I found one kid, he was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he had duplicated my process to the T. But he was in Compton.
Got you.
Because I wasn't in Compton, I was in South Central. So when I go to his spot, he's doing the same thing. He's coming to me buying, and he's selling double ups at his spot. So he said that he had started with $50 at one of my spots.
And then kept it pushing.
Kept stacking his 100, until he got up to where he was buying ounces. And then when I finally met him, he was buying keys.
Now Rick, when you know, because where I love the stories, especially the chop shop. That's my best part of the story so far. Thank you. I mean, how did you feel though when looking back now, 2017, and a young boy, 14 years old, and he's selling drugs? I'm sure he's selling to some of his friends. You know, at some point, like.
Well, just like I did. I sold.
How did
my brothers, my uncles, my girlfriends.
Any regret for those things? Any because with this money and with all the things that come with it, becomes damaging to the community.
Absolutely.
And how did that sit with you, or did it sit with you yet? Like, was it sitting with you?
Well, it took a while before we started to notice that that it was addictive.
Got you.
And when I found out that it was addictive is when I started to wrestle with myself about getting out of the drug business. I quit selling drugs before I was ever arrested.
Okay.
Just for the record, so everybody knows.
So when you
stopped? A lot of people don't know that.
No, I did
stopped
not.
selling drugs in '86. The middle end of '86.
Now, was that because of crack coming, or did that matter to you? Because when I say crack, meaning I know the cooked up rock was getting a little bit more powerful. '86, right? 85, 86. No,
it wasn't any more powerful. It was the same thing. It was rock mixed with baking soda. Now, what happened is,
so in the early '80s, you're selling those rocks.
It's the same stuff, but it's cheaper now.
Okay.
The prices come down. The first kilo I ever bought, I think I paid $45 for it.
Mm-hmm.
When I quit, I'm getting them for $9,500.
Got you.
So it's a lot cheaper. But that was part of my goal, was to make it more affordable so that more of my friends could afford to buy it.
Got you.
And I always looked at it. I never looked at it from the user's point of view. First of all, for the record, I never gave anybody cocaine for their first time.
Got you.
I don't know anybody that ever smoked, and the first time they ever smoked, it was with me.
Got you.
I don't know anybody that ever happened to.
So they were already well using.
They were using when I met them.
Got you.
Basically, one of their friends had turned them on and brought them to me. Oh, Rick is the connect, blah, 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 and that's how they got started. As for regrets, I don't think selling cocaine is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I love who I am today, and had I not went through what I went through, I couldn't be who I am today. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So I don't regret going through what I went through, including my prison stay.
So if you had already stopped, when you say you stopped, so then you would become full businessman when you were already just doing your businesses.
Correct.
And you weren't selling the drugs anymore.
I wasn't selling drugs anymore, and I didn't have anybody selling drugs for me.
So did they really get? How did they get to you? Was it the feds that got to you?
Correct.
How did they build a case against you?
Well, the feds got 7 years.
Gotcha.
After you commit your last crime.
Mm-hmm.
To arrest you. And if they catch you inside the 7 years, they can go back on all those other years.
Okay, gotcha.
But now if you get past the 7 years that you committed your last crime, you're safe on everything else.
Okay.
So what happened with me, I'd only been out of the drug business for about 1.5 years when they arrested me.
And was it, I think I did know, so I'm not sure if this was in your book, was it the Nicaraguan person? Was he the person who set you up?
Correct.
So he already got caught.
Right.
So he got caught, and then he set you up.
Well, I had two arrests.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 separate arrests. I got arrested in '89. Is my first arrest when I had quit selling drugs.
Okay.
I wound up getting a 10-year sentence. I got that cut down to 5 because they didn't get the evidence that they wanted on me because they never caught me with no drugs. They only had a few people testifying against me. I got that knocked down.
And those people who were testifying, were they friends of yours?
Friends of mine.
Friends of people you put
Guys
in the business?
Stayed in my neighborhood. You know, guys I grew up with.
Guys you grew up
Homeboys,
with.
as they call them, little homies.
And they got caught.
They got caught up.
And then
because they didn't stop. When I stopped, what they did is they took over my business.
Got you.
And they ran it and wound up getting busted. So I went to jail for that conviction. I got out 5.5 years later.
So that would have been like early 90s, right?
93 is when it was.
93. So you're out. You got to figure that you're out.
Danilo Blandon, who was my connection, had got arrested while I was in prison.
Sucker.
So what he did is he called me and said, Rick, I know you ain't doing nothing, but your homeboys are.
Mm-hmm.
Hooked me up with one of them. And this went on for about 6 months. Where he's on.
But you're thinking this is all cool. You're not thinking anything of it.
I'm thinking he's trying to, because you know I'm running around the city now. I bought an old theater.
So you're out. You're out clean, and he's asking you to hook him up with your people.
Correct.
To connect you.
Correct. And
93, and this is 93, 94.
Yep.
Did you smell something happening?
I never thought that he would have did me.
Mm.
So there's no way I could have smelled nothing because this is my man. You know, I done stayed at his house.
And technically, you're really minding your business.
Correct.
You're really moving.
I'm really
in
working
your
every
direction.
day.
Got you.
Doing construction work. You know, just doing little odd jobs.
And he could reach out to them if he needed to, right?
Absolutely.
He could have gotten to them directly.
Absolutely.
Got you.
But it was all a setup.
Is he still in jail?
No. He got out with 28 months.
Oh.
10,000 keys. He did 28 months in jail.
Have you seen him again? Spoken to him? Anything?
No.
He's probably not speaking to anybody right now.
Well, I don't know. You know, when we did our documentary, he spoke to one of the producers for the documentary because we wanted him to come on film. I ain't mad at him no more. You know, I don't have no hard feelings because I understand that what happened to me wasn't his fault.
Got you.
I put
not
myself.
Many people, I'll tell you something. Not many people say that.
I understand, but most people don't look at the world the way I look at it.
Say it the way you just put it. Not many people look at it like that.
They don't look at the world the way I look at the world. Probably
You're
different.
looking at it proper, but a lot of people look for those excuses and loopholes to blame someone else.
Absolutely.
In life,
Absolutely.
So he's calling you for 6 months, and I guess you eventually hook him.
One day he catch me and I'm riding with my man Chico. Chico was one of my young homies who, when I went to prison,
just happened to be right there. I just connected
in the car, and he calls me, and Chico hears the conversation, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Man, he said he can give it to me for, I think he said at that time like 10,000. I think it was.
That unusually cheap.
It was cheap for that time. At that time, they were going to LA for about 17.
Got you.
And for Chico, that was gonna be like, ooh wee.
Come on.
He was finna be the man. And Chico had some money.
Mm-hmm.
Chico had saved his money. He had learned the game. He had been buying for me since he was like 16. And when I come home, he, the only one to take me shopping. And, he was doing stuff for me. Giving me a little money. And me and him was going to build a studio together.
Okay.
Something to get into the rap business.
Okay.
This
was then?
Yeah, me and Harry was Cellies when they started Death Row.
Oh,
I was there when Suge first come into the jail with David Kenner. I was right there the first day that he walked into the building to meet Harry. I was.
This has to be early 90s, right? Okay.
91, 92.
Wow.
So I saw what they did with Death Row, and I was kind of instrumental in some of the things.
Did that guy who started Death Row did he ever come out of jail?
No, he got about 7 more years.
Oh, so he would be out eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he fund it?
He came up with some of the money. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
He did.
So now you're there. You pass the phone. So you link him and your homie up, right? Now is that the point now where you are now involved in this?
I'm back involved with drugs.
From right then. It don't matter what you do from here.
I aided and abetted.
Just because you connected the two.
That's aiding and abetting.
And how much time did that get you?
A life sentence.
Kidding me? For passing the phone?
Well, what happens is when you aid and abet in a conspiracy, whatever the conspiracy carries, you get the same thing.
Oh man.
So if they'd have been doing a deal for 300 kilos, I would have been doing 300 kilos.
Okay, but you don't end up you don't end up doing life. You do less than that.
Yeah, I wind up on that case. I did 14 and a half years.
Shit, that's still a long time, bro. 14 and a half.
Well, I went.
I mean, at the time, I guess it's a blessing in comparison to life, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay,
A big blessing.
So how did you get the sentence down? How did you work that to get it?
I taught myself how to read and write,
Got you.
and I started doing law.
And then what? Then you got your? Did you get your case to come up again? Did you get?
Yeah.
So you got convicted on life.
I got convicted on life. Yeah, I had a life.
So you had a life sentence. You're in jail sitting. I got a life sentence.
without the possibility of parole.
So you then read up. You figure this out, and then you go and.
I saw where they had made a mistake in their sentencing form.
What
I've
was
been to
it?
jail one time, but they charged me with 3 strikes because I've been convicted in multiple states when I got arrested that first time.
Okay.
You know, once they found me guilty in one, I just pled guilty in the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I fight it. I'm gonna do some time anyway. If I can get it all ran together, I'm good. You know, get it.
So
over.
that means it wasn't 3 strikes.
It wasn't a 3-striker.
Okay. So then now that it's not a 3-striker, because 3 strikes is the automatic. That's the automatic life, correct?
Automatic life without the possibility of parole. You're a career criminal.
So now that you get a retrial.
No, you don't get a retrial. You
just-
get resentenced.
You should get resentenced.
Correct.
Got you. So now and then 14 is what they offered.
No, the first time it came back, I think I got 20, 25, 24.
How'd you get that down?
A new law came out called Booger and Fam Fam, I think was the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, it says that the judge had the authority to depart from the guidelines if they saw fit.
Got you.
So what had happened in my case is I was still on appeal, and I had won it down to the 25. When I went back to court, the judge had to take in consideration all of my improvements of myself.
Got you.
My reading, participating in drug programs,
Mm-hmm.
just the whole 9 yards. And this judge had grown fond of me. When she gave me the life sentence, I told her I'll be back, and she laughed and said, "Okay, I'll be here when you get back."
Mm.
And when I came back, the first thing she said when I walked through the door, "You said you was coming back."
She hasn't given up.
So she had kind of grown fond of me, and my lawyers used to tell me the clerks, which is the ones who do all her work. One of the clerks had my lawyers said absolutely fell in love with me. Say the clerk.
So all this helps.
Absolutely, because the clerk is probably talking to her, he wasn't a bad guy, and he kind of was entrapped, because I got the entrapment instructions,
Okay.
meaning that the entrapment instructions is given to people who are duped or could have been duped
Mm-hmm.
into doing a crime. Like they wasn't planning on doing a crime, but
There's pressure.
somehow they got involved, so they give the jury the entrapment instructions. Even though entrapment instructions for a jury to find me innocent is kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the prosecutor comes in and say, "Oh, this guy done made over $600 million in 2 years selling drugs. How could he be entrapped
Mm-hmm.
into doing something? He loves selling drugs." Basically, is the way he presented the case to.
Did your homie get time too? The guy,
Yeah, he got time too.
he got as much as you?
No. He got 10 years. He's the first offender. He had never been to jail before.
Okay, so he had to do the strong 10?
No, he did less than 10. You know, drug program and
Gotcha.
I don't know. I think he wound up doing like 6 or 7.
So anywhere in this, in you moving these drugs and moving it at that level, are there police involved? Are there?
Oh yeah, they had a Freeway Rick task force.
Well, and are any of these police working with you to move these drugs? Like
I didn't need no police.
they're not. So they're never.
What I need them for?
So they're never.
But
they're
what they
never
gonna do
in
for me?
You already got this moving.
What they gonna do for me? I'm already making $1 million, $3 million a day sometimes. What are they gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna bring me some drugs cheaper?
If possible, right?
I mean, what you gonna do? How do you get into this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't need you. I mean, at one time they wasn't even rating my spots.
It was not.
No, it took a while before they found out.
This is because they didn't know where you were.
Well, it took a long time for the cops even knew that we had that kind of money.
Because there's no flash. There's no.
Well, my younger guys gave it away. You know, they started buying Rolls Royces, Porsches, and then they seeing, you know, like, I think one of the articles, you know, those cops, the Freeway Rick Task Force went to trial.
Okay.
Stealing money and planting drugs and lying on search warrants and the whole 9 yards.
So they went to. Were they doing this to you?
Yeah, to me. See all
So
these
then- so
scars?
you-
See these scars in my face?
Uh-huh.
And then I got on my leg where they let the dog bite me while I was handcuffed.
This is when they were arresting you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So, I'm assuming they get in trouble for this.
Right, they got indicted.
Okay. So did you have to go to that case? Did you have to talk about it? You had to testify
I testified against them. What I did is
That's a switch.
when I found out that they were doing this to my people, because they didn't get me first.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find me. Because, you know, I got houses all over the city. I got businesses. I can hide real
to the
good.
team.
So what they did is they started doing it to my people.
Gotcha.
To my girlfriends, to my mama. They would plant drugs on them. You know, like they would go to my girlfriend's house and say, oh, well, we found a half ounce of cocaine. And she ain't had no cocaine in her house. You know what I'm saying? What's she doing with cocaine in her house?
Got it.
So I
And
know
arrest her and put it through the system.
arrest her, $50,000 bail, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Got you.
And
This comes to light before you're arrested. This is before
this
you.
is all before I get arrested because they can't find me.
So you knew that it was. You knew that. So they had the hard on.
Right. They had started taking their job personal.
Got you.
It wasn't about, okay, let's go out and do my job. Lucky for me that they did do that though, because if they would have did their job and put some effort in what they was doing, they could have really built up a real case.
Got you.
But by them being lazy and not taking their time and building up, and then if they wouldn't have did that too, I probably would have been filthy rich. Because they would raid my houses with like, I would open up a house in 2 or 3 days and they go raid it. I'm saying, I know they ain't got no search warrant in no 2 days. How they get a search warrant that fast? You know, because when they get a search warrant, they're supposed to do some surveillance. They're supposed to inform it in the buy. You know, certain procedures that I had learned from being in the business they're supposed to do, and I knew that they weren't doing this with their steps.
You almost saying, I don't mind getting caught, but catch me the right way.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like I'm hearing. Okay.
So what I did is I go and talk to my lawyer about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, look, man, these dudes is crooked. These cops are not legit. So he tells me, man, ain't no cops do all this stuff. They don't beat nobody up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a Jew. So
Gotcha.
He don't know. He don't know.
He didn't see that side of him.
No,
yet.
he never saw that before. So he said, well, if I was you, what I would do is I would hire a private investigator. I said, oh, yeah. You know one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So what, the privates got this on tape, got this all happening?
So what this guy did, the investigator, Frenchie was his name, and I wish I had those reports right now.
Mm-hmm.
What he would do is he would go follow the cops around.
Gotcha.
And he's the first one to tell me that their name was the Freeway. I didn't know their name was Freeway Task Force.
Gotcha.
You know, I think it's just the cops, you know, 77, 108, just the precincts just, you know, going around doing what they do, you know. And then he comes back and he's like, well, you know, the Freeway Task Force. And I said, hold up, buddy, the Freeway Task Force? He was like, oh, yeah, you got your own task force now. You got
dedicated to you.
77, Firestone, 108, and they all took the best cops that they got in each precinct, and the city hall put them together, and they supposed to bring you down. So when the cops
This is before you were arrested or after?
This is before.
Before. Got it.
I've never been arrested before that.
Okay.
So when I get indicted, well, first they arrest me. The local cops arrest me first, but I beat that case because they tampered with evidence, and then the local judge threw it out. So they got mad and they took the case to the feds.
Got you.
So then the feds indicted me. What we did is we took Frenchie's file and gave it to the feds as well, and
that must have been interesting.
yeah, then they turned around and indicted the cops too. So we all in.
So everybody
in jail.
Okay. Yeah. If you're going, I'm going. We're all going.
Yeah.
So what year do you get out?
On the last case, 2009.
So 2009.
Yep.
So this whole time you're working on your case, you get the time down. You're doing good things in jail so that it enables you to get out earlier. What was the world like when you got out in 2009?
Well, you know what? When I was in jail, and then when you get a chance, you got to read the article they did on me in LA Magazine, because that probably describes my jail stay better than anybody else. Jesse Katz came down. He was a reporter for the LA Times. He used to ride around with the cops when they were going to arrest me. And
so he's still a writer when you come out.
He's a writer when I'm out,
okay.
But he came and seen me in the penitentiary right before I won my appeal.
Okay, so he's paying attention to your movements.
So he writes this article, called it My Obituary. This is going to be his last time hearing from me, and he talks about that the world was tired of my dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he comes and see me, I'm talking about writing a book,
mm-hmm.
doing a documentary, a movie, clothing line,
He's not hearing none of this.
No, he thought I lost my mind. He said,
but you've learned while you've been in there.
He said, Rick, and I went crazy. But he didn't know I read over 300 books about business. I studied business while I was there. I went from being a non-reader to an avid reader. I started a book club while I was in prison.
Okay.
Where other inmates came and read books. Even when I went back to court, other guys that was in prison wrote letters to the judge and told the judge what I did for them while I was in prison.
Did you? I feel like are you happy that it changed your life? Going to jail, because you seem like you've changed, like everything is.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just happy with life, man. You know, like it's like to lose your life and get it back is a blessing.
Where are you when you first hear a Rick Ross record? Like where are you inside when it happens?
Texarkana, Texas. Yeah, I'm inside.
Does it upset you at first, or do you like it at first? Is it something that you're about? Like what are your initial feelings in hearing a Rick Ross song?
When I didn't hear the song first. First I saw him. He was in XXL magazine.
Okay.
One of my young guys brought me an XXL magazine and said, "Look, this guy's took your name."
Okay, that's how. Okay, all right.
So what I do is jump up and run and start getting on the phone, start calling people, because I'm still messing around in the industry.
Gotcha.
You know, I found the alcoholics in jail while I was in jail.
The rappers?
Yeah.
How'd you find them?
I got them signed.
To what? To
Lyle.
To Steve Rifkin?
Yeah.
So they were in jail with you?
No.
Oh, you just had the music.
I was still networking on the streets.
So then, okay. So now, does Steve Rifkin cut you a check and everything for this?
No, he don't. I don't
know he can't. Correct.
Well, look what happened. Fade. I don't know if you ever heard of Fade.
Absolutely, I know Fade. Absolutely.
Fabian is my homie, my little homie.
Got you.
So the alcoholics.
I'll always take it when he says little homie. I learned the way he described that earlier. Okay, I'm listening.
King T is my little homie.
All right.
So when I leave Harry-O,
that King T. I need to break this down so people understand. King T, New York City, has one of the hardest records ever made. It's called At Your Own Risk. Mean as fuck. I just wanted to really Google that and listen to that. Now, I'm sorry, we'll get back to the conversation. I'm sorry. Okay.
So when I leave Harry-O and I get back to the pen, as soon as I get to the pen, BET come on, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. 187 on Undercover Cop.
This is early in the game then. That's
oh my God. Harry-O done did it.
Wow.
And you know, we always competed.
Okay.
So I jump right on the phone. Man, where King T at? I need a rapper.
And that's who he likes.
So he tells me, oh, you know, these little dudes, they stand with your cousin. So I call my cousin, and it was the alcoholics. E. Swift was there. E. Swift was the first one I talked to. So I talked to him. Then I called Fade. I said, I got me a group. Fade is going to quit Lyle and come and run Rick Ross Records.
Okay. This is what you want to do then,
this
early in the 90s.
And Adrian Miller, too. You probably know Adrian, too.
Adrian, I don't think I know.
Adrian Miller used to run Immortal Records.
I know of Immortal Records, absolutely.
Okay, well, Adrian and him both were running. So they both are going to come and help me. And, you know, I already know Otis Smith, Dick Griffey,
Okay. I know those
and that whole
guys.
crew. So I'm already got my hand in there, and I still got a little bread.
Okay.
I ain't broke it this time.
You focused.
So we're gonna do the Alcoholics record. We're gonna
Gotcha.
put that record out, and then I see the Alcoholics come on King T's video. King T tell me, "Oh, my video finna come on. They gonna be in the video and blah 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 blah." And they good, but I don't know rap music.
Okay, you trying to figure out.
That
They
time.
are tough though. They're dope. They
So,
very.
So I'm gonna do them. I hook them up with Fade. We getting everything together. One of my homies go to the hole. Call me from the hole to get a number for his girl. So I go to the hole to get the number. My counselor hear me and said, "Oh, I'm putting you in the hole with him."
Why?
So I wind up going to the hole because I'm out of bounds. You're not supposed to talk to guys that's in the shoe.
Gotcha.
So he put me in the shoe. So now I'm in the shoe. I can't contact Fade or nobody. When I get out the hole, I call
How
Fade.
long?
Probably like 45 days.
Okay, which is a long time.
So I get out the hole. Fade's excited. Hey, I got the Alcoholic signed. I said, "You got the Alcoholic signed?"
that wasn't the plan. Got it. Loud Records.
So, but me not being a hater, like
Rock out.
I could have been, I said, "Okay, go ahead, do your thing." 'Cause I don't know if the Alcoholics was gonna make it anyway.
They sold some records.
They did.
They sold some records.
They
It's
did.
absolutely sold some records.
So I lost out on them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they got signed.
So, you're. Is it your relative, right? Was it your nephew? He brings you this magazine, of Rick Ross.
Right.
And then what do you ever reach out to him to like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
get
how
him.
was your flow?
I got here in New
Did you-
York. I got one of my boys here in New York. He said, "Oh, he'll be in my office Monday at 9:00.
Oh, so you got to meet him? You met him? Talk.
I talked to him on the phone. Yeah.
What was the vibe?
He melted down. He had a meltdown.
A meltdown.
Absolutely.
When you say meltdown, like he
Like a
explained.
woman. Let me. Because he didn't know that I was gonna be on the line.
Okay,
He
nobody.
just handed the phone.
Oh, okay,
Now
okay,
he don't have his bodyguards at this time.
okay.
He ain't the guy you see today.
Well, but is he? He has one record out.
You don't know what to do.
Well, now here, I'm talking like for me. This is me, and of course, I'm a Ross fan. I know him,
Ain't
but
no problem.
but a lot of rappers look at what you do and what others doing and do take a wow, like that's. Of course they can't. They're not
Absolutely.
living that life. Of course they're not doing that.
Absolutely.
I mean, 50 Cent is obviously
The whole
based,
industry almost.
is based
The
off
whole
of
industry.
50 Cent. So, because even with his music, I never knew that was even a name that he had taken or borrowed. I never knew that.
Most people don't.
I had known from the music. I learned of the case reading and seeing that because when it was said the real, I was like, well, tell me, who's the real? Like, what's happening? And then I caught up. Now, did he ever offer you something? Was there ever friendly conversation
Well,
with you and
this
him?
is
How
what
did you
happened.
how did
This
you
is what
approach him
happened
when
on-
you
Let me
spoke to
tell
him?
you what
How did
happened
you
on that
talk?
conversation.
Yeah, Key.
Oh, big homie, I love you. I owe you.
Okay.
Sounds good. When you gonna come see me?
You're a little bit more business savvy though than most people. Like just in my time I spent with you, like.
Because I know I can't talk on the phone.
Okay.
In the prison, you can't talk on the phone.
Oh, you call from prison.
I was in prison still.
Oh, God, this is early in the game.
Yeah, I'm still in prison.
Gotcha.
Homie, when you gonna come to the prison so we can sit down face to face and talk? Send me the visiting form. I'm coming.
What would you have been at that point? What would you have been all right with? If that conversation, how did you
He
want
didn't
that
even have to give me
conversation
no
to go?
money.
You wanted him to
didn't have
come
to
show
give
you some
me-
respect. You wanted him to come and see you and have the convo.
What he could have did is just open doors for me.
Okay. Show you. The
I
money.
could have
show you the money.
I could have took his career to places he ain't never thought about going.
Okay.
I could have took him places that I'm at right now.
So, how did it get to? Because I know there was a case that went on for a while. Now, you took him to court for the name.
Right.
So, is it that you wanted the name back? Oh, you want to be compensated
No.
for the name?
I got out of prison.
Uh-huh.
I'm walking around, and a young black lawyer, walked up to me. He said, "Universal owe you about $50 million." I said, oh, yeah?
Who owes $50 million?
That's what he said. He said Universal owe you about $50 million.
Okay.
I said, I'm listening.
Somebody lawyer told you.
A lawyer, yeah.
Okay.
From Philadelphia. He
All
said Universal owe you about $50 million. Huh? I said, I'm listening. Keep going.
When are we gonna see some of it? So before the lawyer came to you, this wasn't in your mind. You were more like, how can you?
I wasn't even
help me
thinking
do
about
their
him.
business?
I was like I am right now about him. He don't
Okay.
even exist. But don't nobody bring his name up. He's not even relevant in my world.
But now, did you and him conversate again after that day? To the time you got on the phone?
He did. We did talk one time. I was in Dallas.
Did he come to see you?
No,
You
he
went to
didn't.
see him.
Calix. Somebody had put Calix on the phone.
Okay.
And Calix had invited me to a party that they was doing in Dallas at the All-Star Weekend.
Okay.
And then Calix turned around and he said, hey, Ross is right here. You want to speak to him?
Okay.
And he handed him the phone. We spoke. He said,
Good
"Man,
convo?
wasn't bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we're going to be at the party. You want to come by the party?
Did you go?
No, I didn't want to go to the party.
Okay.
He had lied to me already. He changed his phone number.
Okay.
When he never showed up to the prison.
Okay.
And then on top of that, on top of that, he did a little hating too.
I'd have been a little leery to show up to the prison. I would have been just in general.
He had worked in the prison, so why would he be leery of the prison?
We didn't know that part yet.
But I did.
Oh, you knew that?
I knew about the prison. I had letters from guys that was in prison with him.
Okay.
He was shooting a video one time.
Yes.
Esther Baxter was in the video.
Yes.
Well, Esther Baxter used to write me every other day. She told me, I hollered at him at the video.
When you say Esther Baxter used to write you every other day, because I don't want to skip over that. I don't want to rush that part. So, Esther Baxter was. What were you guys talking about? You and Esther.
I'm just playing around with me, having fun. She likes drug dealers.
Yo, he's so media trained. He has the question. He sees it. He goes, okay. I mean, I was just okay. So when you, how did
she just like to play with me?
How'd she get your information, your number?
It was on the internet.
Okay, and then she just reached out to you.
She started writing me, but not only
you're
her.
writing each other back.
I used to get like 75 letters a week from women.
Oh, well,
Want to marry me?
Well,
send
this
me
is
money.
Wait, this is after the case, after trial, after you get your time down. I mean, I'm sure you're getting some press in between all of this.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So then, I was just curious about that. So, you and Ross, you the second time you speak, but then now you feel like you can't trust him. This is what? Is it 010 yet? 011? Where are we?
No, this is 09.
We're still in 09.
I'm just out of prison.
Okay. So there has to be a point where, so this lawyer in Philadelphia, is this then you send him the paperwork?
Right.
And then now there's no more conversation?
No.
Okay. And how does that, I know that, did that case work out in your favor?
No, I lost the case.
When you say lost, so nothing, he didn't have to give you anything. But what were you asking for?
I think we were asking Universal for $50 million.
So you're asking for the money from Universal?
Yeah. And then Ross, I think we wanted like 10 from him.
You want 10 just for being mixed up in that?
And then I saw him, we took his deposition in Arizona. I mean in Miami. We flew down to Miami, we did his deposition.
When you say we, you were in the room?
Yeah, I was in the room.
Oh, because you can be in the room during the
I'll
deposition.
be in the room when they do deps.
Okay, and then you and him did not speak there, nothing?
No, he rolled his eyes at me and come in, and he tried to downplay me. It's like, it's just me and him. We the only blacks in the room. Everybody else is white lawyers.
Okay.
Universal got about 9 lawyers in the room. Universal fought hard.
Okay.
They didn't play.
So you and him, there's no conversation there, nothing?
No, I reached my hand out to shake his hand, and he snatched his hand back, like, I don't want to touch you.
Got you.
And,
okay.
I just said, okay, buddy. Do your thing.
So now, do you feel any differently about the case? Do you feel any differently about but he doesn't use the name anymore.
He still does.
He does.
They started right back. Soon as they won the case, they start putting Rick Ross back on his records.
Okay. You weren't happy about body language make me feel like you wasn't happy about that.
It don't matter. I ain't tripping about it. I mean,
okay.
I'm like this here, right? When I got out of prison, I already knew what I was going to do. I had laid my plan out. I drew my blueprint.
And you didn't veer from that?
I still haven't bid from it. The lawsuit was just something the lawyer did. I did very little work on the lawsuit.
Got you.
I went to court a few times, spent a little money, you know, more than I wanted to spend because I thought I wasn't going to have to spend no money on the lawsuit. You know, like right now I'm getting ready to hit FX and John Singleton over the head.
Well, we had talked about that earlier, and you know, I'm a huge fan of Snowfall, and I did hear rumor before that it was about your life. That did hear that, like, you know, when you're just bringing it up to people.
Who else in living right now?
But now
not only from L.A. If you took L.A. out of it, if you just said another black guy who was connected to the CIA, where's he at in the world?
Now a few people have told me that it is also about John Singleton's uncle, who and I don't know who is.
What's his name?
I wasn't sure, but wait, RZA and a few people who did it did tell me they met him. He was on set, and he was that he, you know, maybe
had ties to the CIA.
Well, the CIA, I didn't no, I didn't hear ties to the CIA.
He was a kingpin in L.A.
Correct, that part I think. But you would, I know you would know better. That's definitely your time.
Well, I did hear that they did take some of Bo's case.
Now, and that's
Bo Bennett.
Okay, and then some pieces of that.
Bo was from my neighborhood. Bo came like right after I did.
And what year was, so when you say right after, was that like 90s? Or you were already out of it by the 80s?
He came in the 80s.
Because Snowfall's based 85, 86. Now, are you still around in this time going hard?
That's still my range.
Okay. And did you talk to him about it?
It don't matter if you change the time. The time don't really matter.
Okay.
It's what you say and what's going on in the story. And I haven't watched one episode, but they tell me all the time about
15. Got it.
People tell me all the time about the show.
Snowfall. Okay. They tell you all about that. They feel like it's
and then see, I'm negotiating right now. I'm negotiating at the same time he's trying to do Snowfall. I'm working on getting my story. I'm at the Weinsteins. I'm at Ori Emanuel, Jeff Bird, Spencer Boomer, but I'm negotiating.
And we're gonna have to hold up on the Weinsteins for a second, right? You got other.
But they all the same.
How'd you feel?
All of them the same. They all the same. You know, they not only do they rape the women, but they rape the men too.
But from meeting you, because it's my first time meeting you, I don't know if you're gonna find someone as interesting to play you, because you definitely the hustler energy. I don't get bitter from you. I get like you're happy to like
it's just
some
a
new
game.
challenges.
It's like tennis.
To you,
who gonna hit the ball the most? Who gonna keep the ball in play?
But were you talking with John Singleton about doing a TV series, or were you talking movie?
Motion picture.
So you can't still do the motion picture with John?
I'm gonna do the motion picture and the TV show.
But you don't want to do it with John.
Funded.
You don't want to.
Not John no more. We just hired Kim Harding to find us a director.
So were you you were disappointed in Snowfall because you feel pieces of it is your life?
No, what I'm disappointed in is that a brother would sell out another brother because I wouldn't sell my story to the white folks.
When you say sell, they want to buy it from you?
They wanted to buy my story.
What was the offer?
They offered me $850,000.
And then you don't make another penny off of it.
Another penny. I'd walk away. And then I had to hire Nina Shaw, which was the lady who represented Will Smith. She wanted $250,000, and they wanted her to be my lawyer.
Oh.
So that means $250 would come off the top.
Oh Lord.
Then when you pay taxes, what would I be able to get? A car?
Anything that you learned in 14 years is math. Fully, 100% how to divvy this up. Got it. Okay. Now, was this coming from John's voice, or is this coming from the TV company? Like who's giving you this offer?
Oh no, this is deals that I went and talked to the guys who run Hollywood.
Oh, so John wasn't involved yet?
No, not with mine.
Okay, so
me and him were talking outside of me talking to them.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
You know, I'm also talking to Nick Cassavetes, Mark Wahlberg. I got another book coming out. I can't wait until I do this 100,000 on this one so I can drop my next book. So everybody, I had a guy that was riding with me. Everybody thought that he was just there, but he was writing down everything that was going on in my life.
Since when you came out?
Since the day I walked out.
You was already on the next book.
He did a book called Riding with Rick.
Yo.
He just gave me a sample of it a couple days ago, man, and it's crazy. The book is gonna be crazy.
He said Riding with Rick. Oh my God.
He was at all the meetings. Floyd, Ori Emanuel, what's the guy who used to play center for you guys?
Now, because he's at these meetings, right, and he's hearing it firsthand, he can write about it in his book, correct?
Absolutely. It's something he heard. A fact.
And he really heard
you can
it.
write a
sue
fact.
Sue me if you believe, if you think I'm lying.
See where John messed up at is he changed my character. They just gave me some more lessons. I went and talked to
when you say change the character in
it's called defamation of character. See, I have the right to be who I am.
Okay.
Just like I am.
Correct.
You don't have the right to change who I am.
Now, was he trying to change it in the script?
It don't matter how he changed it.
Or do you feel like Snowfall changed your character?
Snowfall changed my character.
But how are you gonna say how are you proving without a doubt that character's yours?
Well, we can prove that certain things happen in Snowfall that hasn't happened to anybody else in the world.
Wouldn't it be better to settle out on this one? Maybe he wants to meet up with you, John.
Well, we talked for a couple weeks, and then talks broke down. And you know, I didn't tell him that the lawyers had already been knocking at my door, like, man, let me have him. Kind of like what happened with Ross. You know, they let me have him.
He's stupid. He's so funny. Like, okay, so then now you're gonna go to court, or you're open to settle?
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm more expensive right now
than last week.
Way more expensive than I was last week.
Have you talked to him since Snowfall came out?
No, we didn't.
You reached him, anything?
No, we had been talking through my manager and
before Snowfall came out.
But see, John always had my phone number. I got John's phone number in my phone.
God, no. I mean, I'd like to see this. I want to tell you something though. I would love to see John Singleton involved in a movie about you. I just feel like that would be.
Well, you know.
I feel like it would be incredible.
Listen to this here. Why would anybody do a fake movie when you got the real guy and you know him?
Well, it's a TV show. I'm like, but I'll tell you something. I still want your story. Like that story.
But Flex, why would you want to do a fake story first when you got the real?
Well, here's something too, because I'm a Snowfall guy. That kid Franklin, he kind of looks like you. How did I go through it? A little bit, right? Damn, a little bit. He's laid back.
Yeah.
He ain't flossy. Okay.
But you understand what I'm saying? Why would you do a fake story when you got the real guy?
Well, see, but Franklin doesn't seem to.
Not Franklin. We leave Franklin out of this. Franklin got nothing to do with it.
But he doesn't seem to interact with the CIA in the show. He doesn't like direct.
Well, you know, they did change the commercials after it aired. I think when they hit my Twitter, they was hitting FX and John's Twitter at the same time. Like, man, y'all stole Rick's story. So they did change up some of the stuff. But what I'm saying is, again, why would you do the fake when you got the real?
But this is a good here.
Can you answer that for me? Just answer that one question.
This is what I think.
John must be your man. You must.
No.
John.
I know John. No more than anyone else. I'm turning over the TV watcher. So, me.
But wouldn't you rather watch a real show about some real facts, some real history? You're talking about American history.
But
you're talking about somebody that made American. But listen to this here.
But I think right now Hollywood is very hot on crime, especially unsolved.
But you're talking about real crime.
But I think there's room. I think like this has that particular show is making me 10 times more interested in what you do, because I'm looking at that as this is some fiction here, right, about LA and a time period. Now that talk is happening, and I think when that talk happens, your name comes up, because then people say, that show's dope, but this is but Freeway story is doper than what's going on, and I think it does make you more interested because I do want the real. That's because I know this is going to be real. I'm not confused with it. So as you're talking movie and you're talking, that's very interesting to me. And when you talk that you were talking to Singleton, you know why? Because I wish I'm not the biggest Tupac fan. People know that I'm not, but I would have liked to have seen what a Tupac movie would have been with John Singleton at the helm. And Benny Boom, I love you, my brother. You know, I just would have, because of their chemistry, because of their relationship. So when you tell me you and him sit and you talk and there's things going on, I do would like to see, because he's from L.A., correct?
I don't know.
I think he is. So I would.
How guys say they from here and they from there and their name is this and I don't never know. I don't ever know where he's from, man.
Yo, he can get you with a smile or get you. Oh man, if it could get right, would you and him work? If it could be right,
I would work with John. Yeah.
If it was right,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the movie I want to see. I want to see your life.
Absolutely,
I want to see Singleton, and I want to see what that comes of that. I want to see
See, my first thing is I'm a businessman first. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to do everything with business. I run my life with a business. I run my kids as a business because we all are businesses. Our life is a business. The way you run your life is the way you want it to turn out, and it should be ran like a business. And that's the way I do. So if John came and it made sense to me, I would still work with John.
Because
I was disappointed when they told me that they didn't want to talk no more.
Okay, well. Got it. So you are open to continue talking?
Absolutely.
Let's continue. I don't want to not continue talking with me, and I feel like there's a character that's similar to me, and now you're not talking to me.
Correct.
I got you, and I'm with you on that one.
The same thing with Ross.
I'm with you. With
the same thing with your man Ross. I was open, and I had some dope ideas for the guy.
Let's have some conversation.
I had some dope ideas for him. You know what I told him? I said, look, man. Can you imagine if you do your show and I call you during the middle of your show and you play the phone call from the federal prison? This is before everybody had heard that. You're getting a call from a federal correctional institution. I said, you play it over the speakers. And then when they hear you talking to me on the phone, they're going to love you even more.
I get what you're saying. You
could have had the whole hood. He could walk around like I do. I just left Philadelphia.
You're looking to further build his brand, and also, and for you also to, that's like saying too. This helps both of us.
Absolutely.
This helps you, and it helps you. And hey, I know you.
It would have gave me some foundation, because I didn't have foundation when I got out. When I got out, I didn't know nobody.
Correct. I got you. I see, but me. I'd have been a little scared. I'm keeping it above with you. I would have been frightened.
But
I don't know
what he should have been scared of.
I don't know how this.
Absolutely.
You are absolutely,
and you
have
absolutely
more
correct.
knowledge than me.
But guess what? He should have been thinking. If this dude was what everybody said he was,
let's build.
He could just snap his finger, and whatever he wanted to happen in L.A. would have happened.
But I don't think.
Because you know what I've done.
But I don't think that's what he
But look
wanted.
at this here. Look what I've had to do. But look what I've had to do, Flex. I've had to beg people. Please, don't go to the concert and do that. For me, listen, to my nephews.
You know how that energy could go.
To my nephews, look, nephew, don't do it.
Let's keep it moving.
Let it go. Unc wants you to do that for him. All right? I know you the shot caller over there on East Coast Crip, but don't do that. That ain't what I want.
I'm going to give you.
John Singleton the same way. When he shot in South Central.
Right, here.
He shot in South Central. Let me tell you what they said. Not just the Crips, but a few brothers from the Nation of Islam. Said, man, let's go over there and stop him from shooting right now. I say, listen, man, that's a brother.
I think, Rick, I can speak from my own experience.
Okay, go ahead.
And I am in this business 25 years. And I'm from the Bronx. I'm from, an aggressive part of the Bronx. And I meet people, and you have friends, you have people you grew up with. I got into business young, and you have some friends that go away, and some that are not friends, which could be from the same part of town. They go away, they do 15, 20, and they come back. A lot of them, I'm their first stop because they got artists, they got labels, they got things, and I can honestly say for me, it's a very long process for who I let in and move with, because I don't know if they're the same person I knew when I was a kid. I just don't know, and you're just trying to figure it out, and it depends on how. And I don't think you did anything wrong. I mean, hey, you reached, you talk, you're conversating. I think that energy's good. But sometimes, it's just I don't come from that life. I can say for myself personally. So I don't know how to read is it really
you don't know how to judge it. You don't really know how to judge it.
Or are you angry at me, or are you roping me in far enough, and then we're going to have a situation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the part for me. It's always hard. And some guys, I've lost a couple friends.
But that's the hood, though.
Like, bro, I got to get to know you.
That's how it is when you're from the hood. It's like that when you're from the hood.
And home ain't always a good thing when somebody's home. That's not always good. It's okay. And all right, and then you tell people, hey, you give people your advice. Hey, I don't know if that's going. Once you start, if you get in some energy, you're like, bro, I know what this is, and I'm gonna keep it so a buck, and then you
and you make good sense, and you make good sense.
So any goons you running with that you've been running with for the last 20,
and you make good sense.
Now it's like, he coming home. Well, what's happening?
But dig this here.
You want good energy. You don't always know if it's good energy.
The first thing you have to do is you have to go with somebody's background. And then you have to vet them out, because
I agree.
Because you can't just automatically put something in your mind, and that's what happens to us as a people. Because once we get some money, we no longer go to the hood because we could be extorted, just like you just said right there.
But you can go to the hood and vibe, but everyone.
Most of them don't go to the hood.
But your energy I'm feeling, everyone's energy is not like yours, Rick.
I already know.
100, but
that's why your energy.
I can feel your energy. It's not the same.
But that's why the hood is mine. I can go to the hood.
But now, how many guys that you know, right, who come home and aren't in a good space? They're not in a good space, or they feel somebody owes them. Sometimes you feel that energy.
Some of them do be, and some of them do be owed.
I agree, yes, but I mean,
I did a favor and then get the favor returned.
Now here, for me, I can honestly speak on this mic and said, I never took a favor. I never took no bread to play no music. I never got into a situation and called somebody to handle it for me. Win or lose, I'm going to deal with where I need to deal with it because it's all I got. That's me.
Understood.
Right? So, but there's some guys that I know, damn, he was the man. He was getting it. Kind of got a raw deal. Listen to him a lot. Sometimes they do have good music. I'm going to play it. If you don't have good music, I'm not going to play it. That's just me, because I can't give that. I can't give that. I earn that. That's
right.
What my thing is.
Well, you're your own man.
Yeah, but a lot of people sometimes don't want to hear that. I mean, they don't. You're saying, like, I would have never thought that you're calling Rick to say, hey, I could do this, let's do this together. I mean, that's unorthodox. That's different. But
I was already doing
how
the
he
music
took
business.
it? Are you sure
but
how
I was
he
already
took it?
See, he didn't know me.
But that's what I mean. He might have. I don't know how he could have gotten to know you better.
If he had took my name,
he should have known you.
You don't do no research on somebody. Took their name.
I mean, but I did my research after. Like when I saw the case going.
Well, you still haven't done no research on me. You still don't know who I am.
No, I don't.
You don't know that I was featured in Esquire's magazine's 80th anniversary.
Correct. I did not know
the keynote
that.
article.
I didn't know that.
They gave Obama the cover.
And then he was in.
But they gave me the magazine.
I did not know that. No, I did not know that. I did my surface research when I heard the case, and then I was like, well, first I was like, well, it's the same name exactly. I do my everything and come through, and then I saw, okay, I get it. This is like 50 Cent, You know, but 50 Cent, the original.
Even worse than 50 Cent, because 50 Cent
had passed away.
50 Cent guy didn't even have a national name. I'd already been on Montel Williams, 60 Minutes, Dateline, Nightline.
This is before you.
Before he ever took my name.
And I didn't know he took it.
Front page of New York Times, not Huffington Post, Washington Post.
But you know, rap guys look up to the street.
I'm not saying
I'm not saying
that there's nothing wrong with him taking a name.
But I mean, I think he looked up to
I'm telling you that he took a name that already had value.
Correct.
I'd already created a couple $1 million worth of value in the name.
Absolutely.
I've been on the LA Times. When those cops went to trial, I was in the front page, LA Times, every single day.
Correct. Yes, he did take a name.
35 cops got indicted.
He did take something that had value. I agree.
Not just value.
Absolutely.
No, it didn't just have value.
There's a name out there.
Tremendous value.
I agree with you.
Because what had happened with my name is that the most important guys on the street had uttered the name.
Okay.
The guys who ran the blocks. See, if you get a guy from here who's a shot caller, and he mentions somebody's name one time, because he don't mention people's names.
Got you. I got you.
He don't respect many people.
And that's a respectable name that he's mentioning. Absolutely.
Like, I go to Detroit and do a book signing, right? And it was a camera guy who came out and he's filming. He said, Rick, do you know all the people who bought that book? I said, no, not really. He said, that's all the shot callers, that's all the big D boys.
Oh, no, they know you 100% in and out.
So I mean, if they respect you.
I know by the people I told I'm going to see you today, I know what it is. I know the energy and the vibe, of course.
So when they show you respect, you don't need no more respect.
You know what it is I wished from outside looking at you and him? I just wished that it had. I wished that it had worked better. Just me as a person looking out.
I wish it would have worked better too.
Because I understand your feeling, and I
don't have no feelings.
Well, I understand how you felt when you hear your name existing.
I don't even have a feeling when I hear my name.
Well, back then, before when you come out, you're like
my friends. They'll turn this record off when they hear it on the radio. I don't.
No, but I mean, it's like you heard your name being said. You know, like it's being said. Like that's.
I like hearing my name being said.
But I was wondering how it was gonna play out too, and maybe look, and you know. I think I was looking for, you know what, maybe there's a way they can do something.
Do a bond.
And that's what I was.
And I
that's
said
what I
that
was
before.
For,
you know, after
that's
the
what
lawsuit,
I wanted to see.
After the lawsuit was over and everything, I said it. Then he go to the Breakfast Club and
I did not hear what he said on the Breakfast Club.
He clowned me on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay. He
said because I testified on the cops that I'm an informant.
Well,
and I didn't get mad at him.
I didn't feel that because.
And I didn't even get mad at him
about that.
Those
are the same cops that's trying to take you to a.
But guess why I didn't get mad at him? Because I said he know absolutely nothing about the streets. I didn't even try to defend myself. Other guys, OGs from different places came on and defended me because I didn't even have to defend myself against it. Because I don't care. When you read my book, you'll see Bishop Noel Jones wrote my foreword. And he said one thing. He said, Rick didn't care what people thought about how he dressed. He didn't care about how they felt, how he looked. Because I was running around South Central LA with $3-4 million in duffel bags.
I'm not concerned on having on the new
what do I
speaker right
care
now.
about your opinion? And you don't have nothing.
That means something that's important.
So when you say that, it don't mean nothing to me. I don't really care.
And I did not hear him say that. I did not know that he said that. You know, and well, maybe he was just blowing off steam.
He probably was. I done joked about him before too. I didn't take it personal. I done said stuff about him, you know, and joking and fun, because I don't have no hard feelings against him. I was just
this could have moved better if he would have visited you when you asked him to visit. It feels like this would have been
totally
different game.
Totally different.
It would have been a different energy.
Totally different.
Because there's something that would have got said between the two of you right there that would have been like, hey.
He would have got to know me.
Got it.
And then maybe if I would have went to that party that night, if he would have saw
you might have went to the party because you had already had a prior with him.
Well, if he'd have came to the visiting room, I definitely would have went to the party.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. And maybe you're feeling there's a certain type of respect. If you come see me when I'm locked up and I reach out to you and we spend some time and then we move forward, you know, I get it. that I do get that energy. Absolutely, I do get that energy.
The same thing I feel about John. I ain't mad at John.
But you know, if the bag's right and he can do this right, we can get it done right.
Absolutely.
John, I would like to see that movie. I'm totally excited to see your movie. I would love to see what it's about. Your stories are amazing. The chop shop part, I didn't really, and is that heavily in your book?
Yeah, yes, and
I didn't know that part at all. Like that was happening too. I didn't even know like the LA scene was so big on that. You know, I know that being big in New York.
Our area was the biggest car ring in the country.
I never knew that.
We stole more cars in our area than anybody else in the whole country.
I never knew that. Tell me besides the book. You said you have another book coming out.
I got another book coming out, Riding with Rick. We just raised all the money that we needed for the movie. Reginald Hutland. Shout out to Reginald.
Wait, so you raised all the money for the movie? You're gonna do it independent?
Independent, baby. I get ownership.
Get that Netflix and get. God.
We ain't going to Netflix. We're going to the big screen.
We're going to the big screen.
Yeah, we're going big screen. I'm also working on a TV series right now.
Okay.
That's coming along well. I'm working on a reality show. I'm working right now. What I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to do a talent search with Brian Kennedy. You have the Brian Kennedy?
No, tell me about that. When you say talent search, is that like rappers, singers, everything? Is
everything.
Okay.
What I want to do is I want to find the best artists in the world.
So artists is what you want to put out. That's what you want to do. Like label.
It's just one thing.
One of them.
One of them. I had the opportunity to work with a guy that won 5 Grammys.
Okay.
So why not put out a record?
Okay.
You got that right at your fingertips. To work with somebody that talented. He sold over 100 million records.
When you were growing up and everything was going on, what were you listening to? What were you popping into to listen to? Who did you like?
Stylistics,
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Gaye, Funkadelics, Parliament.
What's the first rap group you liked? Just rap record. Just like you're like for you.
The first one was what was that? Let me see. Dang, I can't even think of it right now, man. Cause you Grandmaster Flash, I believe it was.
Was that big over there at the time?
Oh, huge. Daddy, I don't want to go to school. Say the teacher's a jerk. They must think I'm a fool, and all the kids smoke weefer. I think it'd be cheaper get a job and be a street sweeper. So that resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go to school. I didn't see no purpose in school. That's why when I found purpose in reading and studying, I took to it so well. I got so sharp at doing the law that when I went to court, I was smarter than my lawyer.
Thank God.
My lawyer was telling me stuff, and I'm like, no, that ain't how I go. This how we gonna do it.
Make you pay attention.
He graduated from Harvard. Also, I spoke at Brown University.
Okay.
And got paid. Spoke at Stanford.
Get out of here.
Got paid. UCLA.
Is that something you do on the regular?
Yeah, I do that now. I go around the colleges and speak.
And when you have those conversations and you tell your life story, what's the energy that you get from the kids, or the youngins?
Well, when they find out who I am, most of them they don't recognize me. I've had kids come up to me and say, "Why you change your name to Rick Ross?"
Oh.
I see. We had to call my mom and ask her that one.
You want to say, "Wait a minute, give me a minute." You know what I was surprised at, and with you saying that, I was surprised that when I did learn how famous you were after I saw that going on, I was surprised that a lot of people didn't do, and me being in the music industry, a lot of people didn't say that. That talk wasn't going around. That's where it originated from. Did Rick ever say that he did have knowledge of you and knew who you were?
Never. He denied it. He said he invented the name. He said that this is what he said at his deposition, and I really. It took me all off my thought. I was somewhere else, and you brought me back. I gotta give you what you want, right?
No, I was wondering. Okay.
He said that he played football in Miami.
Okay.
Which he has no record of him playing football.
Okay.
There's no uniform nowhere. You can't find a picture of him in a uniform.
Okay.
In a football uniform in the 90s and 2000s. No way possible you play football and there's not one picture of you in a football uniform.
Gotcha.
but he said he played football, and somebody, the name of their line was the Big Easy, and somehow they started calling him the Big Boss, and somebody accidentally said Rick Ross instead of the Big Boss, and that's how he came up with my name. So,
That was taking you a bad place.
huh?
That was taking you to a funny place.
No, it wasn't taking me. I was just
You wanted to know.
Just
did it
explain
happen or
it to
did it
you.
not happen? You wanted to know.
how he denied the fact that he knew about me. Now, when I talked to him on that phone, when he was here in New York, because he was here in New York at one of my boys' offices.
Gotcha. Yeah, you tried to call me.
And he told me how he got the name. He said, man, some dudes from L.A. had came down, and they was talking about you, and I threw your name in a rap record, and when I played the record for everybody ears perked.
Okay.
And he said, I knew right then that I was in love with you.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. But
in the beginning conversation, you felt like the respect was there in your first.
No. It was a meltdown.
Okay. You said that.
It's a difference between respect and a meltdown.
Okay.
A respect is when a person like, oh man, I'm glad to meet you. A meltdown is when, holy shit, where am I at? Whose office is this?
Gotcha.
I don't even know where I'm at. I done walked into a trap.
Got you. Okay, I got you.
And when you're in jail, one of the things that I noticed about myself when I was in jail is we become really keen with the telephone.
The energy. Oh, you feel.
I can read energy off the phone because that's my favorite thing in the whole world.
Gotcha.
The most important thing to me in the whole day was to be on the telephone.
Gotcha.
That was better than anything else I could do at the penitentiary was talk to somebody on the other end of the phone. So if I got on the phone with you, I could tell if you was having a bad day or not.
Got it.
Or if you was excited.
More keen than someone else because that's what you do. That was your connection when you with people. That was the outside world is when you connected with someone.
Exactly. And about us with our senses is that when you take one away, the other ones grow.
Gotcha.
So I read over 300 books while I was gone too.
That I found amazing, especially since you went in and you couldn't read at the time. You couldn't read when you went in.
Read at all. But I became an advocate reader.
You feel like you need to. It's got to happen.
Well, the first book I ever read was Malcolm X.
Okay.
And when I read
it's a good start.
When I read Malcolm's book, I saw myself in his book.
Gotcha.
And I felt that I could do what Malcolm did, but even greater than what Malcolm did it.
Okay.
Because I felt that I had skills that Malcolm liked.
Okay.
Malcolm was a great preacher, but he didn't know nothing about economics. I'm an economic master.
You've learned over the years.
Yes, and enhanced even while I was in prison. Because when I was in prison, I didn't read books.
Actually, the economics, you understood that before you went in. That's how.
But I really understand it now because I understand it to a whole nother level. See, I understood it from the street level, but now I understand it from Sam Walton's level, from Steve Ross's level.
Okay.
The guy who started Nike, even our president, I read 3 books on him. So I studied. I was listening to a Farrakhan tape one day, and he told me to study them. And what I took from that is that he was telling me to study the people who ran this country.
Got it.
And that's what I did.
This was what year was this? This is when?
When I started studying them, probably around 92.
But you had not got arrested yet. This is before.
No, I was arrested in 92.
You're already in, and this is what you studied. I want to first say I appreciate the stories you shared with me, and patient too, because I know I was a little late, and I appreciate you hanging out with me and giving me like this.
No doubt. Well, our people really need. I believe that the information that I have is going to set my people financially free. I mean, when you can find somebody that can take, because when I first went to prison and I thought about myself as just a drug dealer, and I really didn't understand that the only part that I really did in the drug business was manipulate drugs and money. That's all I did. I was just a manipulator of drugs and money. And then I discovered that there's more money made in this country from the manipulation of money than anything else that happens.
Mhm.
So once my people learn how to manipulate money the way that I learned how to manipulate money, then they'll become financially free as I am right now today. See, I'm what they call a free Negro. You know, I could walk into Universal. You know, I was, before the lawsuit hit Universal, I was sitting in Universal every day with Vincent Herbert and Lady Gaga and
why were you why was this happening?
'cause I was studying the record business.
To put out music.
I was gonna put out music.
Okay.
Still gonna put out music.
So you want to put artists out?
I'm gonna put out artists. I'm looking right now. I'm looking for artists right now for Brian Kennedy.
How can they get to you if they're to get their music to you?
They can hit me at my social media at Freeway Ricky, Instagram, Twitter, and Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook. And we're gonna be going to, I think, 14 cities. Me and Brian. Brian's gonna be picking them.
Okay.
You know, he's gonna be the one because I don't have a music clue.
This is a start. This is a start.
But we're gonna let him pick the artist,
Mhm.
and what I'll be doing is I'm gonna teach him the way I would do it if I was an artist. Just like I did my book. I own my book, and I don't own a publishing company. Don't no publishing company own it. They don't get a penny out of my book. When I sell my book, I keep all the money. The only person I got to pay is the IRS.
And they're gonna get their piece.
But they're gonna wait. They're gonna get theirs on my terms too.
They're gonna wait. They're gonna wait.
I'm gonna invest their money back into my business as well. You know, they're my partner. They my partner too.
Funk Flex, Rick Ross. I appreciate you coming, man. Amazing.
No doubt.
I'm glad you
No
came and shared
doubt.
these
No
stories with me.
doubt.
Thank you, my brother.